Howdy. I don't know. Somewhere it says it's still uploading. Here it's already 2 minutes ago. I don't know. What fossil fuels have to do with glaciers? Let's see if it's loading or not. I have been making recently some videos about CO2, like this 22 hours ago. Norway pumps CO2 back into the soil. Others use it as fertilizer and grow 4 times more food. And I'm already thinking about making a playlist about this theme, CO2, because I think it's very important to understand the thing about CO2 and the possible fraud about the whole thing. PALAS, Planetary Analogues Laboratory for Light, Atmosphere, and Surface Simulations. June 2015. 6 citations, 1,301 reads. It's not that much. But we go down. You can check the whole article out, watch all the pictures. I just wanted to show you one, which you have seen already, because I have been showing this. Time before present, billions of years. So we have to assume that on the left side, 4.56 or whatever, they assume that Earth got created. And everything else probably too. Big Bang, or I don't know, whatever. Maybe it has been there for much longer than anyone ever can imagine. But that's another topic. We want to watch the red line here. Oh, I missed. Now let's give me some tools. CO2, which is this line. Whoa, and then it goes. All right. I was talking about people using it as fertilizer, like for industrial production, which means the use of CO2 as a fertilizer is profitable. And since we are living in the society we are living in a world of capitalism, it might be very good proof of it being a very good fertilizer, because it is profitable. Maybe once I make a video about the tulip crisis. And in Holland, they are growing many tulips with CO2. So the tulip thing is very interesting. So I'll probably make once if I remember. But CO2, I've been talking about that. It's, I think at the moment, officially, or however you put it, it's about 0.04% of CO2 in our atmosphere. Now, plants, you, everyone alive, everything, the chickens need CO2 in order to survive. There is 0.04% left. What do you think will happen if it would be 0%? I guess you can imagine. Everything will just choke. No food will grow, no animals will grow, no one can breathe. So, I stumbled across another video today. Thank you, YouTube and algorithms and AIA and whatever stuff is providing me something like this. which I'm gonna show you. Because I'm somehow, I don't know, it's very interesting. I don't know. Sometimes I just don't have to search for it. It's just like, boom. Oh, wow, check it out. Like, I didn't knew that I was like, yeah, thank you for providing me with these kind of things. So let me show you a video of a educated person. And in the beginning, I think I will just show you also when this introducer is telling about the education background of the person who will speak, the main person. So, I finally got to the point of the beginning of the video. Yeah, what an achievement. So, I have been talking about this. I don't know if is anybody agreeing with me. I don't care. I understand it fully because why should anyone listen to me since I have no educational background? I have been working on universities, I have been making roof work and drywall work. I have been there. I know people there. Despite they don't talk to me anymore. But that's another story. And I don't care about this either. Yes, their silence speaks bands. But anyway, so now I'm gonna show you someone which has a very long education. And it will take, I want to show you like just the beginning of this because it takes almost an hour. I recommend you to watch this. I really have to watch this to the end. So, it is obviously Harvard University, no, Princeton. William Happer rebuts myth of carbon pollution. Without further ado, let's have a listen to that.
Now today, we have a very, very special guest with us who's come a long way to see us, but Will Happer is also in town to take part in a symposium over at UNC Chapel Hill, and as Will warned me when we were talking about this that he might be disinvited before he got here, but that's not the case. So he will be over at UNC today. But Dr. Happer is an exceptional scholar. He's professor in the Department of Physics at Princeton University and is a specialist in modern optics, optical and radio frequency spectroscopy of atoms and molecules, radiation propagation of the atmosphere, and spin polarized atoms and nuclei. And by the way, he graduated from the UNC, he has his PhD from UNC as well. So Dr. Happer, I'll go into this, received his BS degree in physics from the University of North Carolina, and has his PhD degree from Princeton. I should have known better. He began his academic career in 1964 at Columbia University as a member of the research and teaching staff at the physics department. And while serving as a professor of physics, he also served as co-director of the Columbia Radiation Laboratory from 1971 through 1976, and director from 76 to 79. In 1980, he joined the faculty at Princeton University, and in August 1991, he was appointed Director of Energy Research in the Department of Energy by President George Bush. While serving in that capacity under Secretary of Energy James Watkins, he oversaw a basic research budget of some $3 billion, which included much of the federal funding for high energy and nuclear physics, materials science, magnetic confinement fusion, environmental science, the Human Genome Project, and other areas. And he remained at the department until 1993 to help the Clinton administration during the transition period. He was reappointed professor of physics at Princeton University in June of 93 and named the Eugene Higgins Professor of Physics and chair of the University Research Board from 1995 to 2005. And in 2003, he was named to the Cyrus Fogg Brackett Chair of Physics. So you can see our guest is extremely distinguished scholar. Now, Dr. Happer's also done a bit of research on global warming, among other things, and today he's here to talk with us about the myth of carbon pollution. Dr. Happer.
Well, thanks very much, Corey, and my brother Ian and my wife Barbara are here with me today. They, I think, got a free meal out of this, I hope. And I have to say that, the location is of special meaning to me and my brother because Ian's middle name is Morgan, so we're on Morgan Street. And because our mother's family, Morgan family, has been in North Carolina since before the Revolution, and we're very proud of that. So I'm going to talk to you today about the myth of carbon pollution. You know, I keep hearing people, even President Obama, and talking about carbon pollution. Let me just say right outset, they don't know what they're talking about. It's not pollution at all. And so anyway, carbon dioxide, that's what we're talking about normally, has been demonized because it supposedly causes catastrophic global warming. But I'll show you in a minute that the observations show that all the computer models that had predicted huge warming from CO2 they could hardly be more wrong. It's just unbelievable how wrong they are. And it's also pretty clear that what little warming there will be beneficial. And more importantly, there'll be huge increases in agricultural productivity. Things are going to grow better. They'll need less water. And so why you should call something that does this a pollutant just beats me. It's not a pollutant. Well, okay, I'm only a physicist, but Al Gore actually is a Nobel Prize winner for his time in science, and this is the cover of his most recent book, Our Choice to Save the Planet. You know, the current climate crisis, nobody can figure out what the crisis is, but he seems to think there is one. And this is a picture that Al says comes from a NASA photo. Well, I actually, some of the NASA astronauts are my personal friends, and so they helped me to find the original, and here's the original. This is a NASA photo. And you can tell it's the same photo Al used, but there's some obvious differences. For example, this real photo, the Earth is covered with clouds. There are clouds everywhere you look, practically. If you step back, here's Al's photo. So he's erased the clouds as much as he can. You wouldn't want people getting the idea that maybe clouds have something to do with the temperature of the Earth. You know, it's all that demon CO2. So, okay, so that's perhaps a minor thing. You can tell it's the same picture by simply comparing the cloud patterns are identical. It's exactly the same picture. But especially around the tropics, there are no clouds. And in fact, this equatorial region is always covered with clouds. You know, here it is down here. You know, there. Now, this is the outer cover of the book, and you can see there's a fold. It folds, and there's the binding of the book here. So you can open this cover, turn it over, and you can see the inner cover where he shows you what will happen if we don't listen to him. So here's what will happen. So here's the inner cover. He says, when you unfold the cover, the image you see in the Earth, as we know it today, with its deep blue oceans, rich soil, green forests, that's the cover. This side reveals that what will happen, you know, if you don't listen to Al, basically. He just goes on and on. He doesn't know when to shut up. So I have the same problem. But there's several problems with this from a physicist's point of view, and that's where I come from. First of all, there are hurricanes all over the place, including this one off of North Carolina's coast. It's got one problem. It's rotating the wrong way. You know. All right. Well, this is a hurricane rotating the right way off of Baja California. You know, the rotations of hurricanes are driven by the rotation of the Earth. So there's no way it could rotate this way. There's another problem, and here you see there's a massive hurricane here off of Ecuador. And Panama has been flooded. You can swim from the Pacific to the Atlantic now. Greenland, is all melted. There's a big bay in the north of Greenland. All sorts of horrible things have happened. But it's made up. It doesn't agree It doesn't agree with even the most basic science, and this is the level of the discussion that we're trying to face. That it's just nonsense, It makes good press. People get frightened. We're going to fry all of this crap, but it has nothing to do with science. Talk about hurricanes. We remember that hurricane. This is observed hurricanes. No one has ever seen a hurricane off the coast of Ecuador. Never. Never. And there's a reason for that. I said it's driven by the rotation of the Earth. So if you're on the equator, you can't figure out if you're a would-be hurricane, should I rotate to the right or should I rotate to the left? So you just don't do anything, right? You don't form. Right? So hurricanes in the northern hemisphere rotate to the right, and the ones in the south rotate to the left, right? So that's the level of discourse. By the way, I'm going to give a much more serious physics talk at 4:30 at Chapel. If you really want to go into the physics in detail, you're welcome to attend. But it will have a fair number of differential equations, and maybe you'll get more out of this talk. All right, so this is one of my favorite pictures. Here's what the global warming people would like the public to be. Chicken Little running, flapping her wings here, and here is the fox. You can guess who the fox is. There are lots of them. But, if you're being panicked and all you see is panicky stories in the media, you ought to stop and think for a minute, is it to somebody's benefit? Cui bono, as they say in the law. And lots of people are benefiting from this panic. Well, let's get back to the basic question. Decarbonize the world is what we're supposed to do. Stop emitting CO2. But you probably remember there's this famous episode where Faust and Gretchen are sitting in the garden, and Faust is wooing Gretchen, I really love you, let's get together. And Gretchen says, well, I just have one question. And in the story, it was what you think about religion, But here, the question for carbon dioxide is, if you hold carbon dioxide constant, will that stop climate changing? And the answer is absolutely not. The climate always changes. It has never been stable. As long as we've been able to infer records, the climate changes, and it's not going to stop changing if we stop changing CO2. And the second question you might ask is this the right level of CO2 that we have today? And that's not clear. By the way, I forgot to set it up, but I guess I still have time. I have a little CO2 meter here, which I will put up, and we can measure the CO2 in the room while we're having our meeting here, if I can find a place.
If he can find, he will find a place. But anyway, maybe I have the same problem. I share one thing with him. I don't know when to shut up. But I gave him, I really recommend you to check it out. And it's just so amazing. And I haven't ever thought too much about, about this CO2 thing, making a big thing out of it. But obviously it still nags. And I'm really aware it's just one of all those distortions. And I'm just trying to provide information about the things that those who watch, and probably even take a time to look something up, check out some links or whatever, that you can make up your own mind. Take as much information in as possible. The whole spectrum. Like I'm telling about geothermal activity. Cold cold water coming out of a mountain, which is basically just water. It is as much geothermal activity as is a hot spring with sulfurous water whatsoever. It's just on the other end of the spectrum. That's basically the thing. Thanks.